Welcome back into 7B. We're working on Project 7B, Lookup Format and Revenue Report. Alrighty. And the only file we're going to need is Excel 7B, Lookup Revenue Report. It should be in the class chat. And once you've got it open, then you're going to save it with your name, file save as, and this is what it looks a little bit something like. Well, that was a terrible way to put something. Okay. And once you've named it, then we're going to start on the following activity. Now, I'm working on page 215, and it gives a definition of the lookup, the VLOOKUP, the lookup, and the HLOOKUP. I'm going to leave that for you guys, and we'll talk about it in person. First thing I'd like us to do, and I'm a little bit questionable about it, but I do understand why, is to define a range of cells for a lookup. And so we're going to do that by go to lookup. Right? We're going to make sure that we have navigated over to E07B, and this is phone order worksheet. Then they're asking us to pop over to product information. I'll explain to you why, but think about this as an area for us to refer to. So, product information, we're going to select the range A4 to C11, and we're going to go to Data tab. In Data tab, we are going to go to Sort and Filter. We're going to apply the sort. And the first sort is going to be Style Code. The only sort is going to be Style Code. And OK. So far, so good. Now, once we've got that done, and you will eventually have to sort these lists out, but they're doing it early. Why not? So now we've got that done. We're going to go down to instruction number 8. No, sorry, 9. Alrighty. And we're going to insert the VLOOKUP function. But before we do that, we have to give it something to look for. So we need to think about it. This is the phone order. So you, in the head office of Jesse Jewelers, somebody sits there. I don't believe I'm saying this. And as the orders come in, they are given a couple of pieces of information. The item code, the quantity, and I believe the color. Everything else is included in the spreadsheet here. You'll see how it comes out. So in A9, we typed in G-ID, exactly the way you see it. Okay. And then we're going to press the tab key, and it brings us to description. This is where we're going to put our first VLOOKUP function, and we're going to do it the long way. So formula tab it is. Then we're going to go over to where the heck are you? Lookup and references. In the lookup and references, if I type the letter V, you're not going to work. I'm not liking this, too much work for me. The lookup, and we've got a couple of things. Remember, bolded is priority, not bolded is optional. Lookup value. What is it you want me to go and look up? And it happens to be the contents of A9, or the code is GID. Okay. So where is this GID located? It's located in the table array on the other sheet on product information. And the range is going to be A4 all the way across and down to C11. I will complain a lot about this, and I'll give you alternatives, but for now, whatever it wants, it's going to get. And we need to make sure one of two things we do here. Number one is we give the range a name, like we just learned. Or two, we apply absolute cell reference, which is what the book is going to ask us to do. So it's going to be function F4 and A, $4, C, $11. So if that is copied down, it's always going to refer to this range. C. How many columns across is it? So we're looking for description. The moment I click on table array, it brings me back here. So description is 1, 2 columns across. So Excel, I want you to go to this table. I want you to go and look in the first column. When you find GID, I want you to count 2 columns across, always starting at number 1, no shortcuts. So 1 is going to be style code and 2 is going to be description. So whatever is in that cell, I want to see it in the, that's the result I want to see. So column index number is 2 columns across. And range lookup for now, if it's okay, I'm going to leave that alone. We'll talk about it a little bit later. And that's technically good enough. Is there anything else? Nope, we're good. And okay. So it does that. Perfect. So what it did, look for GID. Okay, so the other thing, it always goes from top to bottom and style code. It stops at GID and then it says how many columns across? 1, 2. So it's going to be whatever's in this cell here. So it reports it back in our formula. A couple of other things are going on behind the scenes, but that's basically it. Okay, quantity. It's a number, and that quantity is going to be I've got B9, and do they want me to copy it down yet? Yes, they do. So when I go and select B9, I always want to do the row. When I go and select B9, my mouse is being stupid here, sorry guys. Okay, I'm going to use the little green box. I'm going to drag it all the way down to row 18. And yes, so the second, third, fourth, and all the way down, you're going to see pound NA. And that means I'm looking for something, rather, the formula's looking for something and it's not available. I'm just letting you know that. So that's another error message we've seen. And we'll leave that for now. As we populate the item, this will correct itself. Quantity. And the quantity is 12. Okay, 12. The color, that's something we have to type in. It's going to be silver. And unit price. Okay, so unit price might also be in the table. So for this column, we are going to, in E9, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do, this time if it's okay, I'm going to do it this way we should do it. Insert function. And for the first time ever, you are going to have to search for it. Once you search for it, it goes into your most recently used list, and you don't have to look for it again. You don't have to go find it again. So we're going to type in BLOO and go. VLOOKUP, yep, I'm okay. Now that's going to be sitting in our most recently used list. I don't have to go digging for it anymore. So lookup value. What do you want me to go look for? It's going to be whatever's in A9. Perfect. Where is the table array? It's going to be in product information. And it is going to be A4 all the way down to C11. Now do you see why I like the range name? It's a heck of a lot easier. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So F4 and function. And there is absolute and absolute. How many columns across is it? 1, 2, 3. Style code is 1. Description is 2. Unit price is 3. Make sure you click on that box. Okay. 3. Again, I'm purposefully ignoring range lookup for now. I'm okay. Good enough. So the unit price for item GID is 17. The beautiful thing is the order amount with those two pieces of information, quantity is 12 and unit price is 17. And so the formula has already been inserted in there for us. So the next thing we're going to do, the next row down, now you know it should come a little bit faster. And that now brings us to the A10. So in A10, mouse work. And in A10, we're going to type in N-CB. Okay, so N-CB. Okay, so that's the item, that's your product code. If it's good, when I press the tab key, description is going to do its thing. Perfect. So that confirms they found it and they found the description. Press the tab key. What is my quantity going to be? And it is going to be C10 and the quantity is going to be 24. Press the tab key. The color is going to be white. Okay. And again, we're going to do another VLOOKUP. Wouldn't it be good if we just kind of copied this down, or maybe I should have copied it down? Click and drag it all the way down. There you go. So as soon as I did that, the only two pieces of information I need is the item number and the quantity, and everything else was done for me. Okay. How nice is that? Think about when you go to IKEA, you get your little pencil out, you go write what you want there, and it fills in the rest. It's kind of sort of like this. Don't speak badly about me again. That good mice bad. Okay, so that was 10. Still on page 217. And now that brings us down to the next page. Validate data. That can't be correct. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. So, A10 is good. N-CP. V. Okay. And D10, we've done that. No. No. That's correct. It kind of feels a bit weird. And that brings us to validate data. Another technique to improve accuracy when completing worksheet is data validation. One of the things that we have done and we've used is something called, we call it a drop-down list, okay? And it's one form of data validation. It's one of my favorites. Okay? So when they say data validation, they're saying the information you're typing in is either A, within specific requirements, like between the number 1 and 50, or it's less than 50 words, or it selects anything in this list, or a couple of other things, but those are the main ones. So by using a validation list, what happens is you are controlling and saying only the items in this list can the user select from. Now, it doesn't stop them from typing anything else they like to, but yeah, essentially you are defining or limiting the options for your end user. Yeah. We are going to create a validation list. So we're going to pop over to product information. Okay. And we are going to highlight A4 to A11, which means from style code all the way down to N-CD. Once you've highlighted that, okay, we're going to define by name. So when we do it, of course, it's going to be formula tab, define name, create from selection, the selection being at the top row, and style underscore code. Okay, Sometimes we see a whole big fat nothing, but things have happened behind the scenes. Then deselect to be careful. They say go look in the defining names group. I'm just going to skip that. I know it's there, and I'm going to close it, and I'm going to navigate back over to phone orders. Okay, so how do we put this together? So we've created the list. Where and how do we apply it? How do we define it? Okay, so now we're going to go over to Data tab. Then we're going to go over to Data Tools. In Data Tools, we're going to pop into the Data Validation. In the Data Validation, we're going to go to the Settings tab, and we got a lot. And you can allow a whole pile of things. Imagine if you are you only want your end user to fill in numbers, not 1.75, not 99%, not 1.25, whole numbers. So you can force the end user to do that. You can force them to use a decimal. So basically what you're doing is training them to give you or select the same kind of information that you want. The reason is data validation. It's always about making sure your data is correct, and it's making it as efficient as we can. So the option we want is going to be list, and it says to us, okay, what is it? It's a list. Now, here's the thing, one of those silly little rules. When you have a list, technically it should be on the same page or the worksheet, but if it's not, you have to have it defined name. And I'll explain to you why. Because Excel has to, with great ease, go and find list rather than whatever the sheet name is, whatever the cell range is. I don't know the technicality, but you have to do that or it just doesn't work. So you've got the source here, and you could just go and select the source if you wanted to, or if you wanted to use the name, what you could do is either type equal source equal style code, okay, or if you're not too sure, formula tab, using formula and style code. That way you cannot forget it. There's only two range names in here. So if you forget what you're supposed to do, this is a great way to remind you. So I want you to go look for the information in equals style code. We've already defined it. And all we see is a little arrow here. And we should be able to copy that all the way down to row 18. And we did that. And we can see the list arrow here. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. But what about row 9 and 10? And what about 12 through 18? We are going to select V-DB, and it's so much quicker for your end user, and it's easier for you. You are, as I say, you're validating the data before it comes in, so you know that's the item number. Therefore, the description is populated. Therefore, the unit price is populated. The only two things we need to do is the quantity and the color. Quantity, we need it for the order amount. On color, we need just the cost. The quantity is 24. The color is multi. Press the tab key, and yeah, and there you go. The 4 rows down. What about the rest of these guys? What about the first row? So unless you apply this particular list, you can copy and paste it all the way up and down. It won't mess with what you have here. let's see what else I have to say. And taking orders by phone, it speeds up the process. Oh, absolutely it does. So with a 12 being selected, we're now going to, we haven't done it, so let's go and copy this down. I'm probably doing it in the wrong order. Oopsie, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to copy this down with nothing in it. Copy C, Control C, and Control C. And yet it's in every cell. Okay. So now I get to go back and figure out that line. So BDB, so number 11, click on the little drop down, select BDB. There it is. And quantity, I believe, is 24. That's a tab key. The color is multi. And enter. There you go. So that is time saving and accuracy. Perfect. That's number 11. Number 12, we're going to select the list arrow and FSK. It does not necessarily have to be in one after the other after the other. They just happen to be doing it by tab, tab, and the quantity is 18. Press tab, and the color is antique. Spelling counts. Enter. And you see how it automatically goes down to the next row? Now we're in row 13. Okay. This time we're going to type in G-W. Okay. Well, let's see what happens when we type in G-W. G-W. Press the tab key. Houston, we have a problem. It says, no, that's not in the list. Do better, Deb. So this value does not match the data validation restriction defined in for this cell. We could, if we wanted to, actually get a nicer message. But we'll talk about that later on. Alrighty, so press escape or cancel. We messed up there, ladies and gentlemen. What we're going to do now is replace it with HCK. I believe that's that. And press tab. This is so cool when it comes together. And the quantity is 11. Tab once, and the color is ivory. And tab. Okay. Do we need any more? So we've got row 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So they're saying, nope, we're good enough. So rather than leave it looking a little bit messy, there are other ways to do it, but they're saying, hey, just let's delete the contents of 14 through 18. And we're actually going to select the unused rows and delete them. So bring your mouse over to row heading 14, click on it, drag it all the way down to 18, right mouse click, and delete. Now, in the total, well, we'd like to find out our total of the order amount, and AutoSum does the job. AutoSum is here, and enter. Looks like they've done the formatting for us. Isn't that a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen? Gotta love it. And I believe that is that. So I'm going to say that.